The digital world erases borders, multiplies opportunities, while providing universal access. No longer enclosed nor exclusive, education reaches all corners with just a digital touch. And when world class learning comes without any monetary strings, barriers, or restrictions, a new era in education begins. I believe SSSVV has all the ingredients of this magic sauce. Through technology, even the remotest student can access a world of knowledge, making education truly inclusive and empowering every mind. Dr. Dakshayini Kanna, academic consultant at SSSVV, will now address us on SSSVV Fulfilling Digitally the Needs of All. Her work in integrating digital solutions in education it's truly commendable. Please put your hands together and welcome Dr. Dakshayini Kanna.
Good morning and Sai Ram to everybody who are here. I start my talk today with my humble pronounces at the lotus feet of Swami and for giving this opportunity, and also in front of all the dignitaries who are here and brothers and sisters. Whatever 20 minutes that are given to me, I hope that I'll do justice and I'll take you from there. Before we start this topic of fulfilling digitally all the needs by all for all, I would like to take you to 2019. That's when everything started. Do you remember when all the teachers who were here started teaching digitally? I think I remember it because all my teachers were scared, especially the math teacher and the language teachers who never touched the computer because they had to type. They would write it in a piece of paper and give it to us. But when they had to do digital, you just think of it because everybody thought that on-call, long calls, and then be on Zoom, Meet, etc. is only for software engineers. When they started, do you remember the way we fumbled with muting people, sharing our screen, playing the videos without sound? But we managed to learn it. And look at it, we were thrown into the sea, and they said that if you can swing, you make history. If you drown, you become history. That was the kind of thing that happened during that particular time, but all our teachers, thanks to them and a big applause to them, they not only swam, they became mini software engineers at the end of this particular session. So that's the reason I say the transformation power that our teachers have, the resilience that our teachers have is amazing. And any kind of change in the education field, they will be able to take it. I'm very sure of it, looking at all these different things that are happening since COVID. They are capable of taking NEP 2020's vision into action inside their classrooms. Thanks to all the support that we are getting from NCERT, the support that we are getting from different boards, especially CBSE, because I am a master trainer for CBSE, and the kind of instructions that we get when we start training people, especially the principals, and then the teachers, because as the other speakers eloquently and nicely said, that unless the head is convinced, they have the conviction that what they are doing is the right way, it's very difficult for the teachers to follow. So when we are actually looking at what exactly is happening, I would like to put the vision of this particular NEP 2020. We heard from the trust members, Vice Chancellor, that rootedness India, being proud of an Indian, is the main thing, the culture of India, which is already integrated into SSSVV so beautifully, is what is the ambition of NEP 2020. I think ethics and integrity, value-based teaching that happens, and being concerned about the society as problem solvers has already been the mission of Swami. And the content or anything that is prepared at Vidyavahini has been amazing. When I looked at the content, I'm a new entrant, maybe 1 year in Vidyavahini, I thought that they have already done most of the things that was expected before NEP even came into picture. That's amazing to see. Basically the paradigm shift that is taking place is very, very difficult for us to actually convince the teachers as well as principals. Whenever we went there, all these days we were saying, complete the portions, prepare them for exams. And today when we go and tell them, don't worry about the textbook, don't bother about the syllabus, you look at the outcomes. Your goal is, has the child attained the learning outcome? That is what we are actually looking at. Will they agree? Second, as soon as I come to grade 9 and 10, I'm very sure many of your teachers, so when you look at parents coming and telling you, ma'am, stop all the sport activities, art activities, I want my child to concentrate only on academics. Have you heard this? So that is the first thing that comes to your mind when a parent asks you, this has to be done. And you have a pressure there, saying that whatever parents' hands, this school has to deliver. The other thing is, you're a CBSE trainer, so you will do whatever CBSE tell you. Why should other schools do it without even realizing that this is going to be universal? Maybe CBSE is piloting it. And NCERT beautifully has said, even last week they had a seminar where they made it very sure the essence has to trickle in. As Mr. Sridhar said, it has to come from the heart. And from the heart, it will be taken forward. So this is the vision with the documents that are available for reference. National Education Policy 2020, and we have 22, that is foundation stage National Curriculum Framework, and 2023 we had School Education Framework that is actually there. Now, scope of implementation, all of us will be scared to look at this data. There are 14.89 lakh schools that are there, and we have about 95 lakh teachers who have to be trained. Look at the magnitude. Who can do it? It is possible only digitally. Otherwise, it's not physically possible to do this. And I think that Vidyavahini is almost there to cater for the needs of all these people. That's a wonderful thing to look about. I thought I'll go through these fundamental principles of NCF foundation stage, but I don't think I'll do because Professor Sridhar beautifully has actually covered this particular thing. Every child is capable of learning. Care is center. As Professor Sridhar said, heart. We say head, heart, and hand has to work together. That's Maria Montessori's quote, wherein when we work together, the gainer, whoever gains, is going to be the child. And the child will definitely be able to contribute as a global citizen, which Swami actually visioned for. Now, Sopan, team will be presenting what exactly Sopan is. Sopan means ladder in Sanskrit. And this is a FLN program that is created by Satyasai Vidyavahini. And the reference documents that are here are, we have Nipun Bharat, Vidya Pravesh, as he said, 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. That is the arrangement. Nipun Bharat comes at grade 1. Sorry, Vidya Pravesh comes at grade 1, wherein it is supposed to be a bridge course for grade 1, preparatory material for the grade 1. First 3 months of grade 1, children go through Vidya Pravesh as a bridge course, and they join. Because all of us are aware that preschool may not be with the main school. So the expectations of the main school may not be in line with what they have taught in the preschool. Now, all these days, preschool was not even considered as a part of academic infrastructure, I would say school system, wherein today that is an integral part of the school system. Then you have the guidelines from NCERT, which has been given. Apart from that, they have this Jadui Pitara, which is completely activity-based materials that are going to be present. So our Sopan program completely takes all this into account and many more as reference material. And it has been prepared beautifully for all the children. It covers LSRW. They also have the plan of covering numeracy at a later stage. Now, what is the curriculum and pedagogy? Sorry. Now, everywhere we say that end of the day, we are not looking at what you have taught in the class. but we are actually looking at what the child has learned. So attainment of the learning outcome becomes the major thing here. The paradigm shift is, has the child learned what is expected to be learned? Have you covered the portions? Have you finished the books? Nobody is going to ask you. NCERT conducted a beautiful third grade book launch recently, and they said, textbook is not everything. It's just a reference material. So teachers, now you cannot tell your parents or tell your principals that you will not be able to do activity in the class because you have to finish the syllabus. There's no finishing the syllabus anymore. Not only here, anywhere for that matter, it's the attainment of learning outcome. But how do you measure this? It's very difficult to measure. Now, there are different materials that are given to you which will help you check the learning level. And also there is something called SAFL, Structured Assessment for Analyzing Learning, which normally happens at grade 3, grade 5, and grade 8, which are the exit points according to National Education Policy now. Now, grade 3 we tried. Currently, we have decided not to go with grade 3. Grade 5 and grade 8 SAFL assessments are happening. So the material that is prepared by SSSVV is going to be basis what are the things that will be observed. This is not a test. It is a checkpoint assessment where they are going to check whether the attainment has happened or not, and they give feedback to the schools as to where they have to improve. That's what it is for. So it's a beautiful concept that is there, and there's something called holistic progress card, wherein observation is the key, where you track the attainment of learning outcome which the child has. It's a beautifully done system, and the dream is going with an APAR ID. This APAR ID is an ID that the child gets when he gets into the system, and he can be tracked till he is there in the school system of education. So that is going to be into DigiLocker, and whenever anybody wants to check the progress of the child from grade 1 to grade 12, they will be able to look at it, okay, this is how the child has evolved. So the data is collected so beautifully that anytime anybody can check how it is happening around. Now, what would be the kind of learning that we are expecting here? So the umbrella that NEP and NCF are talking about is experiential learning. That's the reason NCERT has beautifully reduced the content. And today they have given the rationalized syllabus for everybody to follow. But later, in different cases, it is even going to be different because the books are being made right now. Now, under this, you have learning outcomes as the base. As soon as I get into the class, I think all these days, we used to look at people writing learning objectives. There's no objective anymore. Learning outcome, 40 minutes of the child's precious time, which will never get back to in his life, it will never come back, we are taking as a teacher. Are we doing justice for that 40 minutes that the child is giving us? That is what we are looking at. We look at learning outcomes. How do I transact things in my classroom? So we talk about 3 C's in CBSE classroom management. We say content has to be engaging. It has to be innovative. It has to be interesting for the child. The second C talks about conduct. This is psychomotor. First one is knowledge. The second is psychomotor. How do I transition my class? Do I have a group activity? Do I have a single activity? Am I combining 2 classes? Am I actually making peer learning happen in the class? All that will come under conduct. And the third one, and the most important, as Professor Sridhar said, that is going to be the last one, covenant. Covenant is nothing but the interpersonal relationship between the child and the teacher, which becomes important. That's where heart comes in. So I want the child to get the best that is possible. 3 C's are content, then you have conduct of the class, and then covenant. 1 for knowledge, 1 for psychomotor, 1 for affective domain. All these 3 have to work hand in hand, and that's what experiential learning means. Now you're looking at different pedagogies. Unfortunately, today I do not have much time. I've been warned that you have only 20 minutes, so stick to 20 minutes. So here you're having storytelling as a pedagogy, how exactly we can teach things through a story, make it interesting for the child. Case-based pedagogy. Every business school in the world goes with this kind of pedagogy. Why can't we do it in the class? There are millions of educators who have come across different kinds of cases. Can we share it with each other? Can we make use of it in the class? Then comes art integration, because art is not taught as a separate subject all the time. Of course, we will teach them. But apart from that, can we integrate art into what we are actually presenting? That's another thing. And sport integration. The child is running. The PE master is teaching them how to run. At the same time, the biology teacher is saying why fatigue happens. Where is lactic acid formed? And till what level the athlete can run. And also, there is a math teacher who is measuring things that are happening. So integrated learning becomes completely holistic when all these 4 kinds of pedagogies have been integrated into our syllabus. And SSSV beautifully does this. Again, the team will be presented it in front of you. The learning has to be insightful, inspiring, participative, that means engagement is happening, and enjoyable. All the 4 aspects that NEP dreams of is already there in IIEP 4C. And the 4 C's are, inside the classroom, what is the teacher planning for? In the corridor, what is she making happen? Corridor is a very happening place. What are the activities that are planned for there? Inside the campus, what are we teaching them? And how they are reaching out to the community. I think the essence of NEP 2020 and NCF is there in this particular thing. Now, anybody getting into the class, the first lecture method, will put off every child in the class now. Once upon a time, they used to say pin drop silence. I think all of us have heard it, isn't it? Our generation. Today, if there is pin drop silence in the classroom, we call it a graveyard. No learning is happening there. So we want healthy engagement. We want children to talk. They need to have a voice and choice. Other curricula, international curricula like IB and IGCSE, they have something called agency, student agency, voice and choice that we talk about, but there is no Indian culture there. This child can speak anything, whereas we are adding our dimension. The culture, the ethics, the values, they all get into this particular thing. So when you are actually looking at this, it is beautifully put in the lesson plan, master lesson plan that Vidya Vahini has done. There are inquisitive questions, that means there is inquiry-based learning that's happening. You have day-to-day relevance, that means there is acceptance, there is application that is happening. Interesting asides to make children hooked to your class. Questions to assess, because assessment becomes an integral part of teaching learning process. There is suggested activity, depending upon the school and the teacher, if they have time, they can use it, and embedded value content, beautifully done for a lesson plan, which is already there, and teachers should be grateful for SSSV to provide this, for providing this, because they don't have to reinvent the wheel. They have to just use it to become NEP compliant. Now, the basic and the most important thing of NCF is the learning standards. We never heard of this before. We always used to look at 12 chapters are there, 210 days are there. 1/3 of it will go for assessment and revision. 2/3 of it has to get into the classroom. So how do I finish my portions? Okay, there is a PE class, let me borrow it. There is an art class, let me borrow it. I want to finish this and make them do it. No more, because there is a laid out complete standard, which is here. The first thing is aims of the curriculum. Why are we doing what we are doing? The curricular goals, end of the year, my child should be able to do this. And the competencies. These curricular goals, 13 of them are in the foundation stage. They are divided into 68 competencies. Now, these 68 competencies have learning outcomes slated against them. At what level is the child? A, B, C, D, E. IB used to do exactly same kind of evaluation, but this is much more comprehensive, much more relatable, and at different levels which is there. Now, this is what is the complete essence of curriculum framework. And if you're looking at implications, the content will change according to the expectation of the learning outcome. Pedagogies, we already spoke about experiential learning umbrella and 4 pedagogies. Assessment integrated. Assessment doesn't mean question paper and then having exams. And the classroom arrangement also. If I'm going to have an assessment by peers, there is self-assessment, peer assessment, teacher-led assessment. What are we going to use in that particular class? According to that, we'll be changing the kind of classroom arrangement that we do. And the teachers have to unlearn and relearn. And that's where Vidya Vahini is doing an amazing job in terms of giving the teachers the empowerment that they actually have to look into. Now, the competency-based curriculum that we are talking of, initially it used to be knowledge. Oh, I've got 100 on 100. Awesome. That is what you are requiring to get a seat in a premier college. But today we know that that's not the thing. After going there, the child cannot handle the pressure, kills himself. You need to have the right attitude and the skills. So you have the cognitive domain, the psychomotor domain, and also the affective domain. All these three have to be addressed to get the competence. There's a beautiful video created by multimedia team of Vidya Vahini. I would like to play that for you now.
Chachu, we struggle so much for water for our farm. So, I was thinking of building a rainwater trench for harvesting rainwater.
That's a great idea, but it's not as easy as digging a hole in the ground.
I know. During the Earth Day celebration, the guest speaker gave a very nice talk about rainwater harvesting and showed beautiful pictures of how it's done across the world.
Plan a trench, I may have to go around the professionals.
However, I learned surface area and volume in maths. And I think I can apply that knowledge to design a rainwater trench for our farm.
Really?
Yes, Chachu. What is the minimum water requirement for our field?
I think it is 60,000 liters of water will be sufficient for our field.
And how much area of the field you can spare for this trench?
A corner of the field measuring around 4 meters. 4 meters into 3 meters. 4 meters into 3 meters generally gets waterlogged. Hope this much is sufficient.
Yes, Chachu, should be sufficient.
Okay. Let's say you are right. How deep do you think the trench needs to be dug?
Vidya ma'am mentioned that for storing 1000 liters of water, we need 1 cubic meter. So, for 60,000 liters, we need 60 cubic meters. 4 into 3 is equal to 12. So, 12D is equal to 60. D is equal to 60 by 12 is equal to 5. So, according to my calculations, we have to dig 5 meters deep.
Show me your calculations. Wow, Kuchu, I am impressed. You really learned to apply your education in daily life, not like a bookworm.
Thanks, Chachu. I really want to help to make our farm more sustainable.
One day, you are going to be a great problem solver, Kuchu.
Now, do you call this, one question that I have here, do you call this competency-based education? I want answers. Yeah. Was there knowledge? The child was very good at mathematics. He could calculate, he could see, so knowledge definitely was there. Was there skill for him to calculate and apply it in the real sense? Yeah? And was there the attitude to make the farm sustainable and help people? Don't you think this is what competency education means? To make the teachers understand how they have to develop children and also classroom presentations, relating it to today's expectation is the endeavor of SSSVV. And people should not mistake that this is an additional material that is going to be given to them. They should have gratitude that they are making us, schools and teachers, absolutely compliant to NCF and NEP 2020. This is what I wanted to bring it to your notice. And to make that, we have a wonderful team of content creators who day in and day out actually create the content that is going to be prepared. And we have very strict reviews. You have pedagogy review, you have multimedia review to make it interesting and presentable for the kids. We have value content value. Anything that we are teaching in the class should have an underlying value because they have to be good human beings as per Swami's advice that is given. And the language review, because it has to be a global level content that's going to be there. Remember, once upon a time, if we as teachers or anybody from our child's school spoke in local language, we used to be ashamed that they speak in the local language. So I will not put my child in that class. How many of you agree? Please raise your hands. And today we talk about multilingualism, bilingualism, which all our content is going to be looking into. And it is one of the NEP seminars, one of the seminars conducted by the creators team, actually spoke about different kinds of context. There has to be a local context. In this video that we saw, there was a local context. This is in a place where there is field and the child is aware of the field and the knowledge is being applied. So these are some of the things that has been taken into creation. The multimedia team is definitely one of the teams which is responsible for making the content interesting and also making it available for the children for the needs. Most of the materials that we actually create are for teachers. It's not directly going to the students. To make sure that they're excited and take it to the students, these are some of the things that they do. They prepare PPTs for the teachers so that they don't have to spend time making them. They make videos, they make online quizzes, and the team was telling me last time that they already have almost 1.5 lakh of digital assets which can be used by the teacher, animation, audio files, video files, and in NEP, this class, that is 23 and 24, very clearly say technology use and integration is a major part of implementation that needs to get into. Online and digital education ensuring equitable use of technology. As Sister said, it can be used by anybody who has access to a smartphone. Where there is a need for learning, it can be used anywhere, anytime. So that is the content that is being prepared by Vidya Vahini. It's already there on Diksha. We've already put some on Swayam. Kila Sisters material is already there regarding SDG goals. And we are planning to go full force in the coming days. Now, the reaching out digitally, there are content creation teams which are preparing. Currently, we have our own LMS, Swayam Plus, and Diksha. We might even go there. The communication tools that we use, 3 different kinds of tools here. Communication tools are WebEx, Zoom, and Meet. Collaboration tools, all of us work on Google Slide, Google Drive. You must be seeing that the whole conference today is on Google Drive. And then assessment tools for the students in terms of online quizzes, etc., is also there. It all has been completely digital. So to actually create the content again, we have help from a lot of experts in this particular field. There is always a self-review and improvisation in the materials. And we also give implementation plans to the schools and how to use resources. Continuous training of all the teachers and also leaders are taking place here, both face-to-face as well as digital. The most important thing that SSSV does, which I have seen from almost 1.5 years, is that they do the need analysis. A particular school has a different kinds of sets of teachers, and they look at the need analysis. They develop capacity building programs as well as continuous professional development programs. They keep observing how it is being implemented in the school, and a continuous feedback is given. Opportunities for schools such as LH schools to present the best practices which can be used by everybody else, and the guidance on academic leadership that the teacher can grow into, and also look at how exactly to make our class more interesting and all more productive. And also the career growth path is given by the training team. Now, I will not dwell into equitable and inclusive education because Professor Sridhar has already beautifully put it across. But we have a huge vertical with 28 different verticals on this particular portal, which is ready to be, almost getting ready to be presented to the world for all the teachers in the world who can use this material and then help the children who are in need. So when we are looking at the overall contribution, SOPAN, we have for FLN. We have individual education plans for children with special needs. We have rubrics for assessment, teacher observation rubrics in the schools that we are already serving. We have everything created based on learning outcomes. We have a tech platform, and we have an energized team which is actually preparing the material. And we have SOPs, standard operating procedures, for doing this kind of observation and also sustain the same. The next thing is SDG goals. As Sir presented it, the 17 United Nations SDG goals play a very, very important role for us in creating the content, creating the training material, and also observation. It's integrated. It is not separately done. It's integrated into the regular material that we prepare. For everything else, the cap is, has the child attained the expected learning outcomes? So SAFL, I already spoke about. When you are looking at a higher grade assessment, we follow the pattern that is actually set by the board. Today, I am also a part of a curriculum team. I am a lead for a curriculum team for CBSE. Whenever we make model question papers, we have got the instructions this year that 50% of the model papers should have competency-based questions for grade 10 as well as 12. So whatever material that we are preparing, whatever training that are giving, we actually look at following this kind of assessment. Is this material help the child to attain that learning level? Is my teacher capable of implementing this so that the child attains the level of learning outcome that is expected of him? So we are there. We are also looking at the guidelines that are given by our SQA. SQA is nothing but Standard Setting and Accreditation for School Education, which will become mandatory for all schools across all boards very shortly. It is already there on CBSE website, and we are looking at referring to this while making the deliverables from SSSV. And National Credit Framework, we have plans of conducting some of these sessions for the teachers to understand how exactly this plays a role. So the way forward is to create and review the resources for the alignment of NCF, collaborative creation of teacher training, increase the usage of already people who are using, and also reach others through digital platforms to ensure that they start doing. Review every time periodically and reflect whether what we have set for, is it being attained or not. To conclude, I would say this is a mission that we have started, education by all, for all. So basically when you're looking into who makes this for all, by all indicates everybody who is required here. There are some videos which we have created where we have used rickshaw pullers rickshaw, or a farm of a farmer. So everybody from the society is contributed for the creation. We have corporates creating videos for us. We have dedicated teams such as Vidya Vahini, who has complete devotion towards what they're making. The end goal is Swami's aspiration of making sure that we create good human beings. So it is by all, for all, in the real sense of the word. We have community-driven development process here, customized deliverables, because we need to cater for all the boards, CBSE, ICSE, our state boards, dedicated team of experts who don't look at the time and start working. My experience says once teachers go home, it's very difficult to get. But I think the volunteer team works 24/7. That's one of the best things that I have seen. Expanding reach and access through digital platforms, which has been the endeavor. Karuna ma'am had recently gone and signed an MOU for Swayam Plus. So that is the way forward that we are actually looking at. To conclude, Vidya Vahini's education for all by all is not just a slogan, but is a living reality. It's driven by a bottom-up approach because we look at the needs and places the community needs at the forefront. Our volunteer-powered, customized, and inclusive educational initiatives continually expand to reach more learners through innovative platforms. We are proud to be a part of it, and we are proud to contribute to the broader vision of equitable education of NEP 2020. Thank you so much. Om Sai Ram.
Thank you, Dr. Dakshayini Kanna, for throwing light on Vidya Vahini's strengths in supporting schools on their path of NEP compliance. May I now request Srimati Karuna Munshi, Director of Sri Satya Sai Vidya Vahini, to felicitate Dr. Dakshayini Kanna. Thank you, sister.